that if you're joining us live or watching the replay, I hope your day is going really well. And if it's not, I hope that this next, 30 minutes gives you like a boost of inspiration and creativity. My name is Monica Ortiz. I'm a life coach, and I'm talking today, I'm so excited, with Natasha Rodriguez. We're going to talk about overcoming self-doubt. And Natasha and I worked together for 8 weeks, and I can't wait to hear I can't wait for you to hear her story, but then also to see the stuff that she has made and created. And I'll let Natasha, you can introduce yourself however you want to share with the folks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natasha. Everyone calls me Nati. That's why my Instagram for my business is With Love by Nati. I like to do a lot of DIY projects. I like to make things for my son, for his class, for just my family, my friends, for parties, for gifts. So I have a whole bunch of stuff all lined up here to show everyone that I've made, and also to talk about the journey that we had together in the 8 weeks that we were together, and that I'm still going through, because today I was going through it too. So I was telling you earlier today all my stresses. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to share that with everyone.
I love it. I love it. So if you want, okay, so let's fast. I'm going to just put this down a little bit. Hold on. You can take us back, because right now, if you're watching live or if you're going to catch the replay, it's April 2022. But can you take us back like almost 5, 6 months ago? So like October, November, where were you at and what were you thinking about this DIY? Like, were you even thinking about it as a business? Did you think that it was something that you wanted to do or could do? Can you just tell us a little bit about what it was like back then?
I was doing it for a long time, actually. It's been years. A lot of the time I would do things with my friend at work. So we would do things for like, she would have a party and I'm helping her out. She has events that she's making things for. I had things that I was making things for my son's birthday, or we had things at work, parties, holidays, and we just start creating stuff together. So it made me feel like I really wanted to do this, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I think me and her both kind of didn't know how we wanted to go about it. And then about summertime, I was really thinking about doing it, but once again, I didn't know how to even get started. I was kind of doubting myself, and my friend moved. So trying to figure out how we could do this together was kind of a stressor. But then I said, if I don't at least start by myself, I'm never ever going to do this. So even if she's ready, I'm probably not going to be ready, because I'm doubting if I can even do this to begin with. So a lot of the time what I would think about is, can I do this? And what if I do it and no one buys? And what if I do this and no one is supporting me? And then I'm like the next day I'm thinking, well, what if they do support me? And what if it's overwhelming for me and I can't keep up with it because of my home life, my son, his school, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I just kept going back and forth about it. And then actually it was Samila that shared a poll that you had about doing this coaching. And I decided to just answer it. And in me just answering the questions, I was like, wow, I really do doubt myself a lot. Like, there's a lot of me just questioning myself and if I can do this, even though I do it for fun. But I would like to do it as a business so that I can then grow and make other things. And then that's when you contacted me and said, hey, you want to do this? And we got started.
Yes, and shout out to Samila. She's like an earth angel. These are people in your life that when you're
Amen.
doubting, or like you've either shown them your work or you're doubting
Mm-hmm.
yourself and they know what you're capable of. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they happen to be the vehicle that comes to you for like the next step in your life. So
Yeah.
shout out to her for connecting us in that way, and that
Yeah.
you filled it out. And I can definitely understand that feeling of like you're answering these questions and just coming to that realization of, wow, I really doubt myself.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that then allowed you to say, okay, yes, I'm actually going to try this?
You. Honestly, because a lot of the times you ask the right questions where it's like, um wow, I never really thought about it like that. I never really came to figure out why is it that I doubt myself. And a lot of it I realize is like I have to hype myself up and tell myself, and I didn't do that for myself. I waited for someone else to tell me, oh, this is so dope, like you should sell it. Like Samila's always been saying that. I did a whole bunch of stuff for Grayson's party in September, and she was like, you have to sell this, you have to. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I would question it unless someone told me. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe. But me, myself, tell myself, like, yes, you can do this. Not really. And it took for us to talk. And actually, I remember saying that to you. Like, my love language is words of affirmation. But then when, like, I have a hard time saying that to myself, like doing it for myself. Like, I'm nice and caring to other people and in my words, but I don't do it to myself. And you were like, well, then come up with 5 words that would pretty much be like your words of affirmation for your business. And every time I started feeling, like today I was feeling frustrated, I just started reading the words. So, and it's funny because I repeat them, but it's always like every day it's a different one that I focus on.
Okay.
So today was passion. Today was definitely
Oh.
passion. So, but yeah, I really did question, like, real, like, doing this with you made me really realize that I question myself a lot, and I'm not as nice to myself as I am to other people. So I started working on that with myself, and it's helped a lot.
Yeah, I think that was a huge, I remember that was a big moment when we realized, like, oh, words of affirmation are like, it is your love
Hmm.
language, and people were giving that to you in your life, but it's like you giving it to yourself. And that's
Yeah, I
another
wasn't
way.
receiving it because I
Yes.
wasn't giving it to myself.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
then having those, like, the values, those 5 words. I love that you
Hmm.
still use them, that you still come
Yep.
back to it, that today was passion. Can you talk a little bit? I know how I use the values, but how is it that it helps you? Like when you saw passion today or something like that, how was it helping you?
Um, it's usually when I'm feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. So I really wanted to make so I got an order in. Yay!
Woo!
So
Yes,
I was doing that.
everyone.
And I said, you know what? If I'm gonna start printing today some stuff and start making some things, let me do extra stuff. So that I can also showcase a little bit more today. And some of the stuff wasn't coming out right because my laptop was dying and the charger was in one area that was inconvenient for me to print from. And then I had to bring the laptop after to connect it. Then I printed, everything was fine. But then when I was doing the vinyl, because I was already flustered, it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to come out. I was getting hot. I started getting like super overwhelmed and frustrated. And with me, it becomes anger. Like, why is this not working? And then I had to sit and just tell myself, like, this is your passion. And this is something that you have to do with time. Like, I should have done this days ago. But my son was sick. There was a few things that was going on here. So I didn't get to do it. I was exhausted. So I said, today's the day. I'm going to do it. No questions asked. And then look, I got frustrated. So I started telling myself, like, this is your passion. This is your, like, this is something that brings you joy. This is not something that's going to bring you frustration. Take a deep breath. I did my breathing that we learned together, that did with you, that I learned from you. And it helped me. And I was able to get through it and finish what I wanted to finish. So today,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I just had to keep telling myself, like, it's something I enjoy. It's something that I want to do. It's like, stop getting mad as if it's something that I have to do. It's more something I want to do. So let me do it and do it right and do it at the right mind, like mental space.
Yes,
So
I
yeah.
think that was key. I remember us talking about that. Thank you for bringing that
Mhm.
up too. Like how you feel it in your body, because we talked about like how does it feel when you're getting frustrated, and then what that
Mm-hmm.
leads to. And so taking that step back, breathing, I
Yeah,
know that was a
that was
big
big.
takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems so simple, but it's like just that moment to take a breath, to
Breathe
collect
and stretch.
yourself, yes, and then have that word that I always think of it. It's like it's the word that recenters you. And so
Yeah.
it's like when you're just feeling all over the place and deeply in your emotions, which
Mm-hmm.
is normal. That's part of the process. I know we talked a lot about like frustration early on in the beginning of like
Mm-hmm.
just making the cups and things not coming out right. So thank you for sharing that, because I
Yes.
think people also need to hear that like that doesn't necessarily stop. You know,
Yes.
like there's gonna maybe be another order where something like that will happen. And
Yep.
also I love how you share like it is part of your life. Like you do have a full-time job. You do have a son. You know, you are a wife. This is in context of like you having already a full life and you
Mm-hmm.
coming back and saying, hey, it's my passion and I'm going to come
Yeah.
to it with like the right mindset.
I think also, like, now that I sit and think about it, and this was a big part of what we did together, the work we did together, is that I like the feeling of the accomplishment at the end. But the journey in between, I was overlooking. And with doing this whole process with you, I was able to enjoy the journey because I was able to understand that you have to make mistakes. Like, I've always been I'm a perfectionist, 1000%. So I've always been that person that I wanted to come out right the first time. If I watch a video of something, I'm like, I could do that. I could do that. And then I try it and it don't come out as like the same way. I'm like, why? Why, if I did the same steps without understanding what happens underneath it? What kind of products did they use? What kind, like, how long did they let it sit? Because I remember the first time I did my wine cup, it came out beat up. You remember, it was chunky and everything because I didn't let it sit to dry and have that patience with the projects. I just cared to see how I was gonna finish, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work like that. With everything in life, it's baby steps. And I would get frustrated. And I remember I gave you this example. I said, we don't sit and tell babies when they fall, like, that's it, you're done, you can't walk. You tried and that was it, you never walk. We encourage them to keep going, to keep trying. We hold them, we clap when they do 2 steps, we clap when they get to the third step, and we don't do that with ourselves. So I just had to keep telling that to myself, and it's gotten so much better because I would have let that ruin my whole day today, and I didn't. I went and I kept going.
Yeah, someone just says speak to my soul. They
It's
love
my best friend.
it. So what is it that you did tell yourself? Because we kind of know what you were saying before, which is like it has to come out right the first time. Like I need to,
Hmm.
you were feeling frustration. So what did you then tell yourself to be able to be comfortable with making a mistake?
Like, this is a learning process. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still just trying. One time I do things one way and then I realize, wait, this might actually be a better way to do it. This might, in speaking to other people, you might actually see how something might work a little better, a little different. And also just doing research. I did so much research, and it wasn't until I started actually, because I had my Cricut for a whole like 2 years before I actually, and I only had used it once. Once. Pandemic hit, and I was like, no, I don't got no reason to use it. And my fear was making mistakes on it, like trying and not being able to do it. And I had to go through materials. I didn't want to waste money. I had to go through the materials to learn and to understand how you do things, how long you have to let things sit, how long you have to do things. Um, it was very overwhelming, but I had to just tell myself that this is part of the process. This is part of the process, and that's with anything. It's like when you're pregnant. You just say, "Oh, tomorrow the baby's coming." You have to wait the 9 months. You have to go through the torture. So it's the same thing. You have to understand that it's like something that's building. And today I might be good. Next week I might be better. The week after I might be great. A year from now, it could take 5 years from now. Um, but it's baby steps.
Yeah, I know we talked a lot about that. Baby steps, progress, letting yourself make mistakes and learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know the other big piece of it was like charging. How did you move
Yeah.
from not charging? Because you've been doing this for a long time for
Yes.
free. It really was your passion. How did you go from that to then switching over and saying, I am going to do the research to
That was
see
the
how
hardest
much
part,
cost?
actually. Remember how long it took me to sit with you and say, okay, this is how much I'm going to charge for this. This is how much I'm going to charge for this. And then you said to me, remember to add your time, to add it. And I was like, oh snap, you're right. I was looking online to see like roughly how much these things cost. How first I looked up how much it costs to get everything that I need, how much it had already cost me, and how much it would make for how much I bought, like the keychains, how much it was gonna be to make 30, and how
Mm-hmm.
much I should charge for each one. And I said, oh, I could charge this much, but I wasn't adding and factoring in the fact that I have to pay myself for my labor. So you brought that into perspective, or pay myself to also be able to buy more supplies. Um, so it was kind of hard. It took me like 2 weeks, I remember. Because the first week you said by next week, and then I was like, okay. So that week I did research, and then by the next week I had to like reevaluate. But it honestly it hasn't been that bad, because I feel like a lot of people have been expecting me to charge for so long that I'm just like, no, just count that as the part of the gift, or for this birthday or for that. But now I think people are starting to understand, like, yeah, it's necessary to charge.
Yeah. And even for you feeling like that was what, because, when we went into it, it wasn't one way or the other. It really was whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And that came through, though, that you did want that as a possibility.
Because it helps me also, being able to charge helps me to buy more things, so I can make more things, so I can offer more things. If not, I'm waiting for when I get paid instead. So this way it works for everyone. You get
Yes.
what you want instead of just what I'm just able to give you.
Yes,
That's another thing.
yes.
So yeah.
And there was an audience question. People, if you have any questions for Natasha while we're talking, definitely put them in. But one of the audience questions that came in was, this was a good one because I struggle with this too. This topic in general. What's the best way to honor self-doubt and live through it?
Best way to honor self-doubt. You have to go through it. You have to. That's the best way to honor it. You have to go through it. You have to sit with yourself and try to figure out the root of why you're feeling like that too. Like, I had to really sit down and think about my upbringing, and how I'm the firstborn, only child. So I've always been a perfectionist because it's been um harder on me. I was raised with boys, so I'm the only girl. All my girl cousins are a lot older than me or a lot younger than me. So I've been surrounded by boys. So that's already twice as hard. And I've been the oldest. So it's like I have to set an example. But at the same time, if you fail, it's like, or if there's something that doesn't go right, I feel like I'm also being attacked. So that was part of what I had to understand about my upbringing, that it hasn't always been so like, we support anything that you do. It's more of, or it's okay to make mistakes. It's more like you have to do it right the first time, because there's no room for mistakes. That's how I was brought up. Um, and I had to really tell myself that's not, I mean, I get it, but it's not always the right way. Um, because I wouldn't tell my son that if he made a mistake. So I had to literally go through that and understand that part, that I'm gonna make mistakes. I have to go through it and find the root of why is it that I'm so hard on myself. Um, and what was the
Yeah.
second part of the question?
It was that was it. You answered it, like, to
Okay.
honor it and to live through it. And you're
Yeah.
talking about how you live through it. Thank you for sharing so vulnerably about that, because I think you are speaking to people who are listening, who are even probably thinking about how they've grown up and how they've
Yeah.
been spoken to and how they want to speak to themselves. And really being a mom, you being able to be a
Mm-hmm.
mom in the way you want, and then to almost like parent yourself and say, okay, this is how I was raised, but I want to do things differently, being very intentional
Yeah.
because you got to see how you love him. And
Yeah.
then that means you get to love yourself differently.
Yeah. I think like the main thing that I've gotten from my childhood is that even my parents were very hard on me because they wanted more for me. And my dad, he's from Dominican Republic. He was born and raised over there. My mom was born here. They were both very poor, so they wanted us to be, me and my brother, to be very successful. So it was no room for error. But it left it left kind of like a space where I can't talk to them. I can't come to them for everything. I bottle things in. So I don't want my son to bottle things in. I want him to be able to come to me and talk to me. I want him to be able to understand that I'm getting emotional. That
Yeah.
like I'm gonna apologize for him. I'm a apologize to him. I'm gonna always have his back. I didn't always feel like they always had my back, even though they did. I just
Yeah.
felt more the pressure of um you're the oldest, you have to do it right the first time. You're a girl. The world's already harder for girls. So you have to understand that, and you have to make it, make it happen the first time. You have to go to college, you have to do everything the right way. Doesn't matter what else your passions are, school's first and then this is second. So I did that. Definitely did that, got a job, but now this is also a passion too that I want to do.
Yes. And I don't know if you saw, there's hearts there, people.
Uh,
Yeah, someone put, girl, you're breaking those generational cycles. So proud of
yes.
both of you guys. Like, I think
Thank
that
you.
a lot of people are feeling that they can experience that, the pressures. And I think
Mm-hmm.
you're speaking so well to it that, like, you still get to choose. Like, you get to acknowledge that that's how it was, and you get to choose. And sometimes we think it's not going to come up in these
Yes.
side projects. They're gonna come up.
Yep.
I think that's where they come up the most so easily because um, it's when you're taking that next step, when you're getting out of your comfort zone. All of the things that you have either like ignored or bottled or just had
Mm-hmm.
around you, you start to question it. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
natural place for you to question it. Even if you think, oh, that's not going to happen when I'm making cups and putting a price on something.
Yep.
Of course it wouldn't, but it does. And I love that this was for you a lot more than, yes, it's sharing your passion, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also like we talked a lot, like you just said it beautifully, the inner work that happens in
Yeah.
order
It was
for
like a form
then.
of therapy. I said it almost every single time we met. I said every time I finished talking to you, I felt like I just had a therapy session, but a good one where I acknowledge things that I didn't really see before or I never really noticed before. And I would actually like it made my day better. It always made my day better because I'm like, wow, like it was a breakthrough every week for 8 weeks. So, and
Yeah.
that's why I said to you afterwards, like, can we meet once a month? Because afterwards, I'm like, I remember we met, I think it was the end of January or so. And
Yes.
then you didn't reach out to me again until like end of February and you just checked how I was doing. And then like 3 weeks later, and I'm like, every time you literally reach out, I'm going through like questioning things. Like the last one was I was questioning what name I was gonna put, and it took me a long time. I went on vacation. It took me like 2 months. I narrowed it down to three, and I'm like questioning. I don't know. So I'm like, I have to like understand that is part of the process. It's not bad to question things. It's not bad to um try to understand why you feel or you think the way that you do. It's always a reason. Just figuring out the reason, that's the hard part. But you have to do it. You have to do it in order to like open up your shell, open up your world. So
Yeah. And we talk a lot. I know we've talked a lot about, and then I want to see the stuff that you've created, but we've talked
yay.
a lot about that there's no, it's not all or nothing. You know,
Yes.
it's not this one decision that's gonna like make or break everything. And you
Mm-hmm.
get to try. Again, it's going back to that, like you get to try. If it doesn't work out, you get to like
Mm-hmm.
try something else and
Yep.
try another thing, and it'll keep, it'll reveal itself what is meant to be. So I'm happy that you picked your
Yes.
name. Can you share
Yes.
with us your name?
It's With Love by Nati.
Okay. Do you want to share why you chose that?
Um, it had to have the word love. My original Instagram is love_Nati. I do everything from love, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone that buys from me or that looks at my page or that supports me understand that this is from a place of love. So,
Yeah. And that was one of your original 5 words, I believe,
yep.
right? Yes. So that's also, if you're watching and you want to do it on your own, that's another way to consider how to use the values. Like those
Mm-hmm.
things that are so important to you, they get to be part of your name or the messaging that you put out there. So
Yep.
show us. I'm excited. Let's see what
Yay.
you show us, some creations.
So I did some new stuff today actually, but
Ooh.
so I had to go to the office at my job to clean out, and I had a whole bunch of party stuff there. And I actually found some stuff because one of my coworkers gave me this idea and I should have kept up with it. But he said, and Victor's here, shout out to Victor. He said that I should keep one of everything that I make. That anytime I make something, make 2 of it. Or make 1 or 2 extra so that I can have for display. So I actually made a whole bunch of these party bags in the past, and I just found them. This one was Blippy. Back it
Oh.
up. And this is like the thank you tag that goes with it. So it looks like his little outfit.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I saved this. This one is of Spider-Man. And then the thank you tag in the back. This one is Batman with a name. And then in the back. And then these 2 are wrestling. So this was actually the original project that I made on the, like before the pandemic, and then I never touched my machine again. It was this one. Then this, my wine cup with my name on it.
And Samila also says you made stuff for Grayson's birthday. Came out
Yes,
amazing.
I made
Yes.
actually, I made
Because you do 2
hand
different
sanitizer
things.
labels
Yes.
for his birthday, but I don't have his. I finished that hand sanitizer. It was my favorite. But this one is for my son's birthday. It's Mario. And these are on the Bath and Body Works. I made for his birthday water bottle, and I made chip bags, which that's why I said I have to start keeping one of everything because the chip bags came out really good. I made these kind of wine glasses. So today I made these actually. So this is rose gold
Oh,
with the rose gold name,
ooh,
and then
beautiful.
silver with the silver name. And then I made one for you. So when I see you,
Oh, thank
black
you.
with the black glitter
I
with the
love
black.
it. So for anyone watching, it's 2 different things. It's the gifts and the favors.
Yes.
And
And
you,
I have more. I don't know if you remember. These are the ornaments that I made, and one was
yes,
with your name, and one was with
yes.
my name. And then the last thing I make are keychains, which are my favorite to make, actually. I like party stuff too, but I love making the keychains. So this is the ones of my name that I have on my keychain. I have this one on my page right now. And then I made these today. So I tried something different.
Oh, Soli says, I would love your wine glass.
Oh,
Beautiful.
look. So
Oh,
that's my aunt's name.
nice.
It says Esther. And then I have this
And
one.
someone else said you're making stuff for their wedding party.
Yes, I am. Gifts for the wedding party. So, and hopefully shirts. I'm working on that.
Yes.
I'm working
Yeah, and
on
we
that.
even talked about that too, that starting with what you have, because you've done so much, and then you
Yes.
can always add more to it. You can always
Yes.
add.
That was the hard part. Like just starting, just putting myself out there. Like that was a big thing for me. And the days before I noticed I have anxiety, I'm stressed, and then once I do it, I feel so accomplished. So understanding that that's part of the journey is like the most important part.
Is that, what would you tell someone who's like similar to where you were thinking a few months back, where you're like, I want to do this, I'm not sure, am I going to get too many orders, am I going
Do
to
it.
get too few?
Do it. Take the leap. Even if you're stressed, even if you're scared, you have to do it. Because it's better to just do it than to live with regret. And understanding that those feelings are going to come up regardless. They're gonna come up regardless if you do it or don't do it. If you don't do it, it's like, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I believe in myself and at least try? And then and it's kind of like I say this all the time to my friends. You know, you can feel like crap. You could feel like crap on the inside. You could feel tired. You could feel overwhelmed. You get up, you fix your hair, you put makeup on, you put some jewelry on, and you go outside. And I bet you the way that you put yourself together will now become how you feel about yourself. Now, instead of feeling like a 1, you feel like a 10. So it's the same thing. If you don't do this, if you don't at least start in whatever your passions are, you're going to go feeling more and more like a 1 and trying to figure out why is it that you feel like a 1 without trying. Instead of just trying, making mistakes, you're going to go up and down. Your feelings are going to go up and down. One day you might be like, yeah, I can do this. And the next day you're like, this is not working today. And that's okay. That's part of the process. And I think that's the best advice that I have to say. You just do it. Just do it and just try. If you don't try, you're going to stay there stuck.
Yeah, and we have some
Wishing.
comments saying, yes, you grow when you're uncomfortable. Even if you're
Yeah.
not at 10, you try. So people
Yeah.
are definitely they're resonating with what you're saying, and it's so true. You know, one of the questions that I have, this will be one of my last ones for you, is what you were worried about before,
Mm-hmm.
did it come true or did other stuff come?
I was worried about not receiving support. I've actually received way more support than I thought. It's so funny too, because the day that I created the Instagram, I came up with the name. I did it all the same day. Like I came up with the name, I was texting you, and then I said, I'm narrowing it down. I got it. I think I know which one. I just have to. I'm asking. So I asked 2 of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and because I mean Samila's funny, I had to ask Samila, but I asked Mayela and I asked Samila because Mayela is gonna tell me how it is, but Samila is gonna see the bigger picture. So Samila said to me, "Not that one, because it doesn't sound right." And I was like, "Oh, you're right. Like I didn't think about it that way." And I was like, you know, it's funny because the other one was the one that I was going with in my gut. So it just worked out that way. Um, I feel like I was really worried about like the name being right. I was really worried about if I was gonna get any support. And a lot of my friends have been actually pushing me more than I thought, family too. And then worried about if I was gonna even get any orders or if I was gonna be overwhelmed. So I've gotten orders and I'm not overwhelmed. So it's
Yeah.
actually so crazy to think about it like that.
I love that for you because it's true. I think a lot of times the things that we fear the most of either
Mm-hmm.
happening or not happening maybe they don't come up
Yeah.
because it's too many steps further ahead. And
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't, I think something that you learned in this process was like that you can handle it. You can go at your
Yeah.
pace. You can, you can decide what your schedule is. You can decide how many orders you're going to take. You can decide
Mm-hmm.
then like you get to make all those decisions and it doesn't have to be as scary and as overwhelming as we sometimes the mind makes us think.
Like I just said to myself, I think part of me was questioning if I was worthy enough to do this or I was good enough to do it. And then the other part of me was like, um, and if I'm not good enough to do, if I am good enough to do it, then what? Like, how can I keep up with it? Like, how am I going to do everything that I do in my everyday life and still able to do this? And I have been able to do it. So I was practicing at one point at 2 a.m. just because I'm up at night a lot of the time. And I actually feel at most peace sometimes at that time. So I'm like, might as well just do it while I'm watching my shows. So, and those were the things that came out the best. So, questioning
Yeah.
yourself sometimes about your self-doubt or questioning if you'll be able to do it are legitimate things to question. But at the same time, if you don't just take the leap of faith and do it, then you're always going to sit there wondering why. Like, what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Yeah.
Why didn't I do it?
And Louisa definitely shared, she hit on it because you talked about this earlier. She said, don't go for perfect, go for done.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So where can folks find you, and where, like, what can they get from you? I want to make sure that people know. You got to
Yes.
check out her videos, by the way. They're beautiful.
Yes.
I
I have
really
more to
love them.
update. I've been just doing it in pieces because I don't want to overwhelm people. But my Instagram is with love by Nati. You could add me, you could DM me. Um, and right now I have keychains and I have different designs. And different glitters and different vinyl colors. So if you hit me up, I can tell you which ones I have and how much they are. Wine cups, the stem and non-stem. um Keychains, well, I said that, keychains, ornaments, and then party favors. But ornaments obviously is for the holidays. Party favors like juice boxes, juice like Capri Sun labels, chip bags, party bags, and the gabble boxes. I've made those too. I'm gonna start posting more of that kind of stuff. Hand sanitizer also, hand sanitizers with their labels.
Thank you. And is there anything else that you want to say? Anything you didn't get a chance
um
to say?
No, just really like I'm thankful for everyone who supports me and who sees my journey, um because it's been a rough one, and it's only been what, like 4 months, so
Yeah.
that we've actually dived into this, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm just thankful for the support that I do have and the people that have been pushing me to do more.
Yes, and anyone who's watching, you definitely want to order some of these stuff. One of the other words, I don't think it was on your five, but one of the words I would say for you is integrity.
Yes.
Natasha definitely creates not only with love, but with integrity. So the stuff that she's making, she's testing it out, she's researching it, she's making sure that it's going to come out the best way possible. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely think about, we got Mother's Day coming up. You might want
Yeah.
to think about some beautiful gifts to give to someone for that.
Yes.
And I'm so happy if you're watching live or on the replay, thank you for joining us. Thank you. I hope you got something today out of overcoming self-doubt. And
Yes.
I hope you check out Natasha's page and buy some of her stuff. Your loved ones are going to feel appreciated for sure. My name is Monica. I'm a life coach. If you're thinking about a creative project that you have in mind and you want to move forward, you're feeling a little stuck or you got some self-doubt, definitely book a free consultation call. I love talking to people about this and seeing like where we can get you unstuck, how we can move
Mm-hmm.
forward. And if working together is it. It might be, it might not. And that's like, it just starts with a conversation.
Exactly. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Monica. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you
Yes. And
so
I'm going to
much.
make sure I tag Natasha's page and stuff so you can see it. I'll put my link in there too in the replay. We're getting so many hearts. Thank you all
Oh,
for
thank you.
joining and your comments. If you have questions after, you know where to find us. Oh, thank you, Mari. She said, loved it. Thank you, ladies. And
Thank
we
you.
we just hit some of the surface on some of these topics because there's
Mm-hmm.
so much we could have gone deeper. But
Yes.
I also just appreciate how vulnerable you were and transparent about like how it's been for you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I
thank
appreciate you.
you. Have a good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Bye.